What could the GNC shopping experience of the future look like? So it's time to turn your dials to ABC because the Jetsons are about to start. And on this episode, George Jetson is going to head to his local GNC. In October of 2020, GNC had an open CEO position. I publicly applied. It wasn't real, but I made that particular piece of content to show GNC my thoughts of what GNC needed to do to become a thriving retailer within the wellness market. And because that video had some obvious kind of linkages and interconnectivity to the future of GNC, and you haven't checked that out, it's one of my favorite pieces of content that I've ever created. So I'll pop up that video for you guys right here. The link will also be in the content description. I guarantee the 27 or so minutes that content will be worth your time. So while I will definitely touch on some of those kind of strategic initiatives that I would have worked on as the CEO, so things like defining exactly who GNC is, redefining the role GNC plays within the customer journey, reimagining the frictionless retail experience, and putting GNC out of business ourselves, I will be looking at more of a longer term view of those specific kind of areas. And if you want to kind of imagine this is GNC in the late 2020s or GNC in the early 2030s. So I guess we should start with why I think GNC needs to make a radical change. The COVID-19 effect strengthened the wellness secular trend tailwinds that have been in the market for the last 1 or 2 decades. It also gave us a sense of what the future of retailing would need to look like to be successful. With wellness spending in almost every subcategory spiking, GNC, though, barely received any benefit from it. While things have gotten a little better in 2021, GNC is still struggling. And it's time to take a hard look at themselves in the mirror and put together a long-term transformative plan that's rich in innovative thinking that will be needed to not only survive but thrive in the future. So before I get into GNC specific ideas around the future of their stores, it's probably important for me to talk about my ideology on the role stores will play in the future of commerce. The store of the future must become a physical portal into brand and product experiences that are relevant to the target audience. It means becoming a place where consumers can be inspired, learn, socialize, and experiment with new products and services. It should be a place that prioritizes customer service while also using digital touchpoints that drive in-store traffic and enable physical stores to operate within a broader interconnected ecosystem. This will mean that the store network will become an increasingly vital part of last mile fulfillment. So let's now dive into the GNC store of the future. GNC should be focusing on 4 core fundamentals of retailing. The first one being footfall, or how to get people into the door, frequency, how to get more people in the door more often, relevance, provide things that matter to consumers, brand consistency by offering on-brand and on-trend products and services. Baby boomers and millennials, which make up the vast majority of the consumer spending in the American market, are deeply attracted to wellness. The definition of wellness continues to expand and encompass a larger circle of products and services. Consumers walk into GNC locations or go onto their website every day with a strong conviction to reach a specific wellness goal. The problem is that most of these consumers that walk in the door do not know the interconnected steps that are needed to reach that specific wellness goal. This is a perfect business environment setup for GNC to deploy my Store of the Future ideology. So let's just kind of start at the name. GNC stands for General Nutrition Center. Now, nutrition is much more than just providing supplements and vitamins. GNC should be seeking to break the chain of misinformation that most consumers unfortunately believe that supplements are kind of this easy button to get to their wellness goals. This mindset ultimately hurts GNC because if a consumer comes in, buys hundreds of dollars of supplements, but doesn't change any of the other lifestyle things that they would need to meet their wellness goal, they're going to ultimately blame those supplements for not working, even though there is some variable within that wellness equation that's not being properly handled. Instead, GNC should be aligning themselves with consumers that are embracing this idea that food is medicine. And this community will be essential to tap into for a national retailer like GNC. It shouldn't be too hard to imagine a high counter that has a juice bar when you walk into a GNC. And honestly, the experimental store in 2018, late 2018, that GNC created in Pittsburgh did have a smoothie bar that they tested in there. So along with that juice bar, there could also be some local farm fresh produce that's on tables, that's merchandised next to a display of anti-inflammatory turmeric supplements. In the recent GNC investment in partnership with Real Eats does show that GNC understands the larger points of what I had just mentioned. But that partnership alone, it needs to be multiplied by hundreds. And what I'm talking about here is GNC should be providing an extensive library of healthy recipes, how-to videos, and have like special cooking with fitness celebrity slash celebrity chefs slash local fitness influencers, and have classes and experiences that could be both in-store in a localized way, but also across the digital ecosystem, be it website, app, that is fully shoppable. It's kind of like a shop-attainment type of offering. To go even deeper with this idea around nutrition, GNC should also look to scale out registered dietitians or nutritionists across their stores. They should also offer 24/7 kind of telemedicine type services through their app. They could align this with their Pro Access type membership to beef up the benefits of that paid loyalty program. But nutrition is only 1/6 of the wellness dimension right now, and over the next 10 or 15 years, there could be a lot more dimensions that kind of come up as some of these other like fractures that are inside the 6 wellness dimensions kind of go off on their own. So another element that GNC should be kind of focusing on is around fitness. Just as I suggested, the extensive kind of online, offline, localized slash like a digital loyalty play within the nutrition wellness dimension, they could come up with a similar type solution with the fitness dimension. And then within the store, there should be dedicated space for on-brand type group fitness classes or type of educational type classes around wellness. And there should be a very large window or just fully glass type approach that anybody coming into a GNC location should see the activity, see the energy, see that people are being healthy in that space, inspire them to be more healthy for themselves. Look at some of the free or just some of the classes that maybe are offered through that GNC Rewards program. And since we're talking about the store design, I think they need to kind of change over the look to a more bright, modern, inviting type of a design that's reminiscent of the Whole Foods Market vibe. Additionally, the store exterior, if it is an owned piece of real estate, should also reflect the healthier planet is a healthier you mentality. You could have EV vehicle charging stations, you could have solar panels. Now, moving this discussion more into like the technology side of things, as a shopper walks in the store at GNC, there should be a scanner that either pulls up a phone or pulls up biometrics of that person walking in that store and should instantaneously deliver that information, be it loyalty or just some basic customer information, to the associate or the health coach to provide them the ability to give a truly personalized shopping experience to everybody that walks into the door. Based on some of the conversation that happens between that customer and the GNC health coach, that GNC health coach should be able to pull up both the customer data, the customer's purchase history, align that with some of the goals and information they've put in there. Also match that up with similar customer cohorts that have these similar goals, similar intents, similar purchasing background, kind of basic metrics, and that have been successful in meeting their goals, to provide that customer with both a big data driven solution, but also one that's personalized to that specific customer. GNC really needs to get away from like this tribal knowledge that's given to customers and really leverage the technology that's readily available today. A personalized shopping experience in every aspect of the customer journey should be the expectation in the future. It shouldn't be the exception. It should be something that you're looking at. How do we add personalization throughout the whole shopping experience, throughout the post-purchase perspective? The customer should be getting the best personalized experience within the wellness market so that there is a stickiness to the customers and a high switching cost for them if they do want to shop around. Merchandise sold at the GNC Store of the future should reflect a more elevated consciousness. It should be extremely hard to get your products into GNC. GNC should be extremely picky in the future in terms of what products they put in their stores. It should really de-emphasize the commoditized products that are already omnipresent across other retail competitors. Like the food-related merchandising strategies suggested above, GNC should shoot for a future in which consumers, anytime they're thinking about health and wellness related purchases, should think about GNC first. That could mean adding items that seem unthinkable to today's standards for GNC. So I'm talking about maybe the trendiest athleisure apparel and health and fitness technology. Imagine a Geek Squad at Best Buy type approach, but for fitness technology and diagnostic tools and techniques that feed into the at-home preventative health movement that in the future everybody's going to be wearing some type of maybe technology wearables, or maybe at that point it might actually be implanted in us. And all of this would be kind of integrated into health records that would be fed into your insurance companies to help alleviate the rising healthcare costs of the future. And GNC should be a part of the governmental lobbying that not only should be focused on supplements, but food as medicine type prescriptions that would be covered under healthcare, be it public or private. And just as currently GNC has a store within a store concept within a pharmacy retailer, Rite Aid, I can see pharmacies and wellness retailers merging to be a stronger beacon wellness services and products that everybody looks to within communities. Finally, GNC of the future will acknowledge that the legacy retail model is dead. And what I'm talking about here is that no longer are consumers going to opt in to be the default picker, packer, and last mile delivery driver for these retailers that obviously help them with margin, but it's not going to be the case in the future as more consumers opt into a different model that places the consumer within almost choose your own shopping experience adventure that is whenever and wherever and however he or she desires it. So why is this all important? Omni-channel customers have proven that they spend more than single channel shoppers. Frictionless omni-channel should allow for the reimagination of the store design and shape to handle the new flows of shopper traffic and behaviors. So I just want to end on some final thoughts. GNC has unfortunately been a recent story about failed innovation, defining themselves by the physical products that they sell, and believing that they know best what the customers want. I'm fully aware clear that the store of the future types of radical ideas rarely make it to market as is, but they can and do lead to new ideas and incremental changes that over time can translate into competitive advantages. I hope you guys enjoyed peeking a bit into my futuristic brain and how I can see some of the ideas around the GNC store of the future kind of playing out for them to be competitive in the market long term. If you guys have any questions, comments, or maybe ideas that maybe I didn't cover, I would love to hear those in the comments section of the content, or you can reach out to me on any of my social media accounts.